Barranquilla's Carnival. It's a carnival with traditions that date back to the 19th century. It takes place for 4 days preceding Ash Wednesday. Barranquilla's Carnival is a Colombian feast exposed to the world. The feast contains a mixture of cumbia, porro, mapalé, gaita, shandé, puya, fandango, and fantastic maricumbes. These are examples of many styles of Colombian music. It is a feast that gathers up tradition based on the creativity of the Colombian people, and it is expressed by various forms of dancing, by means of music, by different forms of artworks, by the wearing of different costumes, and by the way of celebrating. The Carnival of Barranquilla is unique because of its cultural diversity and because it is a feast where the people are the main protagonists. During the carnival, the city of Barranquilla's normal activities are paralyzed because the city gets busy with street dances, musical and masquerade parades. Barranquilla's carnival is reputed for being second in size to Rio's. The Barranquilla Carnival includes dances like the Spanish paloteo, African Congo, and indigenous Mico and Micas. Many styles of Colombian music are also performed, most prominently cumbia, and instruments include drums and wind ensembles. The Carnival of Barranquilla was proclaimed by UNESCO in November 2003 as one of the masterpieces of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. Cali Fair. The Cali Fair is the most important cultural event in Cali, Colombia. It is a celebration of the region's cultural identity, famous for the salsa marathon, horse riding parades, and dance parties. The Fair of Cali is the main cultural event in the city, home to almost 3 million people, and the Pacific coast of Colombia. It is a fair that has been celebrated since 1957 from December 25th to December 30th. The fair is also known as the Sugar Cane Fair and the Salsa Music Fair. People enjoy many activities like an opening parade of horseback riders, tascas, salsa concerts, bullfights, parades, athletic activities, and cultural exhibitions. Blacks and Whites Festival. Blacks and Whites Carnival is the largest and most important celebration in southern Colombia. Its geographical indication belongs to the city of Pasto. It is celebrated from 2nd to 7th January of each year and attracts a considerable number of Colombian and foreign tourists. Strictly speaking, the modern carnival arrives at the dawn of an Epiphany Day in 6th January 1912, based on the need to express imagination, play, friendship, and sharing the joy that around that time of the year revives. In a fine and exclusive brothel in the city, the house of the Mrs. Robbie, located in La Calle Real, was the place where the audacity of Don Angel Maria Lopez Sarama, renowned teller of the city, leads him to take the French face powder of one of the most requested ladies and proceeds to gently spread the powder and some woman's perfume among all those present with the slogan "Vivan los Blanquitos, Hooray the Whiteys." Soon the companions of the master carter and victims of the powder joined the game. Then everyone would go out to repeat the joke with the unsuspecting parishioners exiting the King's Mass from the nearby church of San Juan Bautista, repeating, "Que vivan los negros y que vivan los blancos. Hooray the blacks and hooray the whites." That expression, under the custody of galeras, was inserted with force and forever into the essence of Pasto. Bambuco National Fall Festival and Beauty Pageant. Since colonial times, the Department of Huila has been celebrating the feasts of Saint John and Saint Peter. These festivities are not only a large cultural sample full of music, dances, and customs street marches, but a remembrance of very old traditions of this Colombian region. The National Bambuco Festival began as homage to Saint John the Baptist, a saint from the old Christian Europe whose devotion was brought to America by the Spanish colonists. The feasts were made official in the 18th century to acclaim La Jura, an oath of obedience and respect to the King of Spain. Back then, the celebrations lasted 10 days, during which the people participated in several events, among them bullfights. At the time, St. John's Day was a rural feast celebrated in the countryside by families who usually spent the day at the riverside, where a traditional Huilense roast was prepared. On the contrary, St. Peter's Day was an urban feast developed in the city with horseback rides, fireworks, aguardiente, and lots of music. Starting in 1960, the festivities have been strengthened with rich and varied cultural offerings. Since then, the Fall Festival, a cultural heritage of the nation, is one of the better organized ones and is only attended by groups which have a proven musical record. Years ago, Colombians enjoyed different kinds of games. Some of them are still being played by our people nowadays. People played games such as Rana, Frog Game, Chaza, local tennis, and Trompo, spinning top. Games varied according to the regions and landscape and usually involve the outdoors and require rudimentary objects, and were usually played in groups or teams, unlike the technologically advanced games that kids play today. Next, we'll show you 3 of those traditional games that will help us get a semblance of what life was like in those first years of the Republic.
Very popular game here in Colombia. The object is to take this big, heavy, circular weight and throw it onto this sort of big display of mud over here. Come and watch. Ah!
Tejo is Colombia's pastime, very similar to horseshoe, except the rules are a little different. These Nuevo Colón Boyacá residents first kick back with a few beers and then, with a muscly arm, fling heavy metal discs at a clay pit. We play Tejo to distress ourselves a little, this man says. It's a good game to play for a while with chichas or beers. The object of the game is to hit as many small paper triangles in the center as possible. These mechas, as they're called, are filled with gunpowder and explode on impact. Whoever comes closest will get 1 point. Whoever hits the triangle gets 3 points. The game is then played for as many rounds as the players decide. I practically play Tejo every Sunday because I have time then, he says. We work on the farm from Monday to Sunday. If you want to play Tejo, you need to be willing to get your hands a little dirty. Sometimes you'll need to dig a disc out of the clay and wipe it clean with your bare hands. Tejo is a modern adaptation of an ancient indigenous sport called Turnaque, played in modern-day Boyacá in Cundinamarca. Turnaque also so happens to be the name of Nuevo Colón's neighboring town. This is our way to have fun, this man says, because there are no other sports here. Here the sport is only Tejo for us country folk, because other sports do exist, but we don't know how to play them. In 2000, Tejo was officially declared Colombia's national sport and will continue to bond Colombians for generations to come, especially between lifelong friends like these guys here in the small town of Nuevo Colón. For Colombia News, I'm Gary Parkasevich.
Hello and welcome to Colombia in English. I'm Francisca Velázquez.
And I'm Rosa Gomez, and we're here in Bucaramanga to play bowling, Francisca.
But not any type of bowling. We're going to play criollo bowling.
Okay, so basically what you have to do is to take the ball and try to hit those sticks over there. So Francisca, let's try your skills.
Let's do it.
Oh, well, definitely we need to keep practicing.
I know, I have to keep on practicing. You're watching RCN News in English, bringing Colombia to the world.
Many people today take for granted the very means of travel available to them. Few stop to think of how life would be different had man never tamed that first wild horse or shaped that very first wheel. How did ancient man hit on these life-altering ideas? Where did the thought first originate? How have the advances of time led humanity from the ground to the stars? Man had long since domesticated the horse and was using it to help him till the soil and plant crops. But the invention of the wheel would lead to the development of mass transportation, as man put his new invention to practical uses. The next logical evolutionary step from the wheel was the invention of the cart and chariot. The two-wheeled chariot found its birthplace in Sumeria and is believed to be the world's first form of wheel transportation. Built around 3500 BC, this chariot increased the speed of travel over land and eventually led to the four-wheeled cart, which took the burden of carrying supplies and equipment off of the shoulders of the common man. In Colombia, the first plane landed in 1920 on Magdalena River, and the first car appeared in 1899. As man overcame the boundaries of land travel, his curiosity about the world around him increased. To his aid, man had developed the means of traveling on water even before he had domesticated the horse. Over time, the simple boat evolved to include a large square of cloth mounted on a central pole. This cloth, called a sail, would turn the boat into a sail-propelled ship. This new addition gave man the ability to use waterways as a means of swift travel from one place to another. Evolution of clothing. Conquest, 1490 to 1530. Native American people changed their short maudes or loincloth to longer wrapped skirts. Colony, 1530 to 1810. Independence, 1810 to 1880. Europe clothing trends had an impact on wealthy women from the Colombian society who had access to foreigners and merchant people. (1880 to 1950). Flapper styles of short skirts, low waistlines and bobbed hair. 1955 to 1970. Youth of the 1960s rebelled against traditional styles and created their own trends. 1975 to 1990. Brilliant colors arrived to shoes and clothes. The soap opera dynasty had a large influence on Western women's fashion in the 1980s. Women in aerobics leggings during 1985. They remained in fashion for such activities until the early 1990s. They were replaced by cycling shorts. 2000 until today. English singer Amy Winehouse with her trademark beehive hairstyle. Singer Lady Gaga with her futuristic fashion style.